Secretary, it's really sad news because Oakwood holds a really special place in the hearts of many in Pembrokeshire and across Wales as well. And I've got really fond memories of my time visiting as a child, and even more recently with Andrew Davis, where he shared the photo of us both on Megaphobia enjoying, and he enjoyed it a little bit more than I did. I'm not one for roller coasters, but it's a really important, has been a really important part of our tourism offer in West Wales, and people shared their memories on social media following the announcement yesterday. And Lee Day, who I used to work with, shared the story of the time that he had to hide EastEnders actor Dean Gaffney in a restaurant in Oakwood because he was being followed around by teenagers throughout there. And it's been really nice, but it comes at the cost and the price of this park closing, which is deeply sad. Now, Aspro, the parent company, have cited the unrelenting economic challenges as the reason for the closure, and they've invested over £25 million there, £1 million in the Megaphobia ride that I mentioned earlier, and they say that national insurance contributions, inflationary costs to food and drink, and the cost of ride parts and electricity have all been affected. So we can't ignore the impact of what's happened in the budget on the decision by Aspro to close Oakwood. So I'm just wondering what discussions you're looking to take forward following this closure with counterparts, with the Cabinet Secretary for Finance and those counterparts of yours up in the UK government around the impact of NICs. And we can't ignore the shadow that tourism tax casts across these sorts of businesses as well. So is this an opportunity for the Welsh Government to review and reset the tourism tax discussion given the closure of Oakwood? On the second point around staff, I've written to the management team locally and the head office in Madrid asking that staff are supported. Now, I'm aware of a business who I've spoken to this morning who are looking to take on staff who are losing their jobs. But what I'd quite like to hear from the Welsh Government is what they're doing to support staff in the area who are impacted by this closure, because we know without staff, these sorts of attractions don't have the heart and soul. They're the people that really care about this, and the staff that we met on our visit to Oakwood most recently really loved being part of the Oakwood story. The future of the site as well. This is a really prime site and it's been developed over the years. And I'm aware that there could potentially already be buyers looking to come in and use the site for commercial purposes, either keeping it as a theme park or other things as well. What I'm looking for is a commitment from the Welsh Government to work with me and other stakeholders. Businesses have been in touch with me. I'm sure businesses have been in touch with the Welsh Government as well, to try and find a buyer as soon as possible, because the last thing we want in Pembrokeshire is a site of that size being left derelict for a number of years. We saw that with the old CC2000 site. It became an eyesore. We don't want that to happen. So anything that can be done to support and bring more together to try and buy the site and continue to run it would be most welcome. And the final point then, I really hope this isn't the start of a decline of tourism attractions in Wales, and that this is an isolated incident and impact. So what I'd quite like is if the Welsh Government could convene a tourism summit with other large attractions from across Wales to hear their views, to reset the relationship with them and to hear, right, what's really affecting you following this closure by Oakwood, to make sure that the tourism sector in Wales is supported the very best that it can be, so this remains an isolated event and not the start of something more sad.
I'm very grateful for the question this afternoon, and it is indeed a sad day. I know that many people across Wales will have very, very many happy memories over the last 40 years, and it is absolutely a much loved attraction and has been for many decades. I think that the business itself, as we've heard, has recognised that there are a range of factors behind the decision today. It mentioned also the costs in all areas of the operation. So we've heard about ride parts, but then it also extended to the cost of electricity and inflation in terms of food and beverage. And I don't think that there's anything in relation to the announcement today which suggests that this is a Wales-specific issue. I think that the issues which were described are certainly wider than things which the Welsh Government can have a direct impact on. And I do think the reference across the tourism levy might have been a little bit of a stretch this afternoon, given the fact that the tourism levy can't even come into place until next year at the earliest. And the purpose of that levy is to invest in the conditions which make tourism a success locally. So I know that we'll have to continue to disagree on that particular point. But I think that our main concern, and I think this goes for all of us, is really about the staff at the site. And of course, our Welsh Government team works closely with our key stakeholders, including Department of Work and Pensions, local authorities and work in Wales to ensure that people who are at risk of losing jobs or at risk of redundancy do receive the information, support and guidance that they need. We know that lots of the team is made up of seasonal workers. So I would point to some of the innovations that we have, such as Big Ideas Wales, for example, which is a really great opportunity for those young people to consider who might otherwise have been employed during the tourist season at Oakwood. So that's you know, just one idea which might be useful to some people. But then in terms of the future of the site, I also share that concern that we wouldn't want to see that site derelict, and that just provide reassurance to colleagues that the Welsh Government is in contact with those people with who might have a commercial interest in the site, and we would certainly do what we can to facilitate a quick sale if we're able to contribute to those discussions. And then in terms of the kind of wider tourism sector, I'm really pleased to say that we do have that kind of large summit, which you referred to, on the horizon. So on the 27th of March, we have our National Tourism Conference. It's a Welsh Government conference which is provided through Visit Wales, and that will have some of those large tourist attraction owners at that, amongst others. And part of the key issues which we're trying to grapple with at that conference will be around sustainability and resilience for the sector.